Hello friends, welcome to my channel, and in the today's session we are going to discuss about the anatomy of the perineum. In that we will discuss urogenital region and perineal pouches in detail because it is one of the topics of the pelvis which is not clearly understood by the many of us. So let us try to throw some light and try to understand the perineum and perineal pouches in detail, and why this perineum is important, why you should know, because the perineum has a very important role in the process of delivery, vaginal delivery. That's why whenever you go to the obstetric labor ward, that there this knowledge of anatomy of the perineum is very important. So let us seek the importance. The greatest obstetricians in the world have never been pregnant. What do you mean by that? That means the best gynecologists and obstetricians are male in India, and anywhere in the world you take one of the best. I am not saying that females are not best, but they are also best. But when you take the top gynecologists and obstetricians are male. It is like a male gynecologist is like an auto mechanic who has never owned a car. So why I am quoting this? Because I am just emphasizing the importance of the anatomy of perineum. Don't think that only females will become obstetrician and they should know about that. No, the anatomy of perineum is very important in the conduct of smooth normal vaginal delivery. Okay, and to even manipulate the anatomy during the process of delivery, we do episiotomy and all, where we cut the perineum voluntarily to not damage the perineum. So we are doing a surgical damage to the perineum so that the fetal head will not cause a irregular perineal damage. Are you understanding? That's why perineum is very important, and we are going to see the perineum under following headings. First we will see the definition, then we will see the shape, then we will see the extent and what are the boundaries, then we will see the subdivisions. The perineum is divided into two spaces here with the three fascias that we will see. We will see superficial perineal pouch and its contents, deep perineal pouch and its contents, then lastly we will see the applied aspects. I already give you the brief overview of the applied aspects. Let us see in detail. So first, coming to definition, what is perineum? It is the inferior aperture of the pelvis which lies below the pelvic floor or diaphragm. So it is the part of the pelvis which lies below the pelvic outlet, or you can say inferior aperture of the pelvis which lies below the pelvic floor, which is formed by pelvic diaphragm. And if you see in lithotomy position, it lies between the medial aspects of the thighs anterior to both sacrum and coccyx. So when you see in lithotomy position, so this is the female perineum. You can see the green outline there. That is the area we call it as perineum. Lies medial to the inner side of the thighs in this lithotomy position. Okay, this orientation is very important. We will talk about that. You can see there is opening of the urethra, vaginal opening, and behind you can see the anal canal opening. And when you see the left lateral view of the sagittal section of the pelvic cavity, you can see there anteriorly pubic symphysis is there, posteriorly coccyx, and here you can see this is the two arrows indicating the two regions of the perineum, and this is pelvic diaphragm. Below it lies the perineum. You can see that is the pelvic diaphragm. Below it lies the perineum. So perineum is a space below the pelvic diaphragm. And when you see the bony perineum here, bony pelvis, it is diamond shaped, and you can see on either side it is held by the ischiopubic rami or formed by the ischiopubic rami, and posterolaterally you can see the sacrotuberous ligament there extending from the ischial tuberosity to sacrum. That's why it got its name, sacrotuberous ligament. and you can see, you can superimpose the previous image into the female pelvis. Here you can see the perineum, so diamond shaped, and it is divided into two regions, anterior urogenital region and posterior anal region. And when you see the pelvis, the bony pelvis, it has a pelvic inlet. When you go from above to below or above downwards, you can see the pelvic inlet is there. This is the plane of the pelvic inlet, and we will see the pelvic cavity, and lastly you are seeing the pelvic outlet. So what is the definition of the perineum here? It is the inferior aperture of the pelvis below the pelvic outlet. Why this pelvic inlet, cavity and outlet are important? Because it is the pathway of the fetal head or the fetus during the process of natural vaginal delivery. So anatomy of these paths, the dimensions of pelvic inlet, cavity and outlet become very important. But today we are focusing on the aperture or the area below the pelvic outlet. When you see the pelvic outlet, this is forming the bony perineum, diamond shaped, roughly diamond shaped. Okay, so here you are seeing the left lateral view of the sagittal section of the pelvis. You can see the pelvic diaphragm there, dome shaped pelvic diaphragm forming the pelvic floor, and perineum lies beneath it. Perineum lies beneath it here. Here will be the perineum. Are you following, friends? So perineum will be here. And what is the extent? It extends from pubic symphysis to coccyx. When you see the extent here, but it is not oriented like this. We are telling the extent here. It is not oriented. It will be like this. So perineum will be here. So orientation is different. We'll talk about that. So remember, extent is from pubic symphysis to coccyx. And boundaries, anteriorly what you see the pubic symphysis, anterolaterally you are seeing the istiopubic rami, posterolaterally sacrotuberous ligament. Here you can see this is istiopubic rami here. This is sacrotuberous ligament. Here you have pubic symphysis. Here you have tip of coccyx. So when you join all this, roughly diamond shaped. It is roughly diamond shaped. So you can see here. So you can now tell the boundaries. Anteriorly what? Pubic symphysis. Anterolaterally istiopubic rami. Why it is called as istiopubic rami? It is formed by the part of the pubic rami and part of the ischial rami. That's why it is called as istiopubic rami. And posterolaterally you have sacrotuberous ligament. Why it is called as sacrotuberous? It connects the ischial tuberosity to this sacrum, sacrotuberous ligament, and posteriorly you have tip of the coccyx. So these are the boundaries, and it is divided, the perineum is divided by a imaginary line passing in front of ischial tuberosity into two regions. Anterior one is called as urogenital, posterior one is called as anal. Why the anterior one is called as urogenital? Because there is opening of urinary tubes and genital tubes, and posteriorly you will see the opening of the anal canal. That's why the posterior part is called as anal triangle. So anterior one is urogenital, posterior one is anal triangle, and here you can see this area is urogenital region, this area is anal region. Again you can notice here the pubic symphysis, tip of the coccyx. Urogenital region is directed downwards and backwards, whereas anal region is directed downwards and forwards. Don't think that it is a horizontal space. The perineum is a diamond shaped when you see it in the lithotomy position, but when you see it in anatomical position, the orientation is different. The urogenital region is directed downwards and backwards, anal is directed downwards and forwards. So they make an angle with each other. So you will see dome shaped pelvic diaphragm above, then you will see the urogenital region and anal region. So this space here, this is perineum. This is perineum. When you see in left lateral view, view. You should understand that. And that is what? That is pelvic diaphragm. Whatever below it is perineum. Hope you got some clear view of the definition. And here you can see, when you see the bony boundaries of the perineum with the pelvic diaphragm, you can see anteriorly it is having the urogenital hiatus, posteriorly the anal hiatus opening there. So whatever the region here below the pelvic diaphragm, you are seeing it from below. Okay, so pelvic diaphragm is above, below the pelvic diaphragm is perineum. And the subdivisions already we have discussed. It is divided into two regions, urogenital and anal. And orientation, what you see in these textbooks and images, it is in the lithotomy position, but you have to understand it in an anatomical position, because the description is in the form of anatomical position. Whatever the diagrams are there, they are in lithotomy position. They are in this position, as if the arrow. You are the arrow seeing the perineum, okay, between the inner aspect of the thighs. Okay, so the pictures, many of the pictures what you see, they are in lithotomy position, but you have to imagine them in anatomical position, because the description is given in the anatomical position. That is why it is confusing. The perineum is a bit confusing because they use these terms, they replace the terms in different positions. So what you see in textbook is it is like this. Left side you are seeing female, and right side you are seeing the male perineum, and you can see the urogenital region is in the green color, anal region is in the pink color. Okay, in the females, in the urogenital region you will see two openings, that is a urethral opening and vaginal opening, whereas in males that is closed by the fusion of the two scrotal folds. Whereas in the anal triangle, both in male and female, you will see the anal opening. But you have to describe the structures or arrangement of the fascias in the perineum in anatomical position. In anatomical position, superficial is inferior, deep is superior. So we use these words quite frequently, and we interchange these words. Remember that. When you say inferior, it is superficial. When you say inferior in anatomical position, it is superficial in lithotomy position. When you say deep in when you say deep in the lithotomy position, it is superior in anatomical position. So superficial is equal to deep, deep is equal to superior. Remember that. But you have to describe them in anatomical position. So next, moving on, you can see in this animation here, when you see the bony pelvis, it has this pelvic inlet through which the fetal head will engage during the process of the labor, that is pelvic cavity. And when you see the pelvic outlet, you can see it is roughly diamond shape, what you are seeing here. That is the boundary of the bony perineum. You can see pubic symphysis, ischiopubic rami. I told you it has a pubic part and ischial part. It is forming the anterolateral boundary. And what you see posterolaterally, you are seeing the sacrotuberous ligament, and you are seeing the tip of the coccyx there. So these are the bony boundaries, and you should have the idea of the orientation. As the perineum is divided into two regions, you can see here, when you see the left lateral view of the bony pelvis here, yes, there will be the perineum, and that is urogenital region directed downwards and backwards, anal region directed downwards and forwards. They meet at the level of ischial tuberosity. That's why we divide the perineum by an imaginary line passing in front of ischial tuberosity into anterior urogenital region and a posterior anal region. That is what you see in the perineum. This is the bony pelvis orientation. Remember that. So they are not like a horizontal space, what you see here. So that is about the orientation. Next we will see one region, that is the urogenital region. So what is urogenital region here? Already you know the boundaries here. You have seen the boundaries of the perineum. So what are the boundaries of urogenital region? Anteriorly you have what? Pubic symphysis, and anterolaterally you have ischiopubic rami, and laterally you have ischial tuberosity, and posteriorly you have the imaginary line passing in front of the ischial tuberosity. So this is a triangular urogenital region, or you can say urogenital triangle, and posteriorly you see anal triangle. So when you see here, this is the orientation here. What do you see? So what is this here? This is pubic symphysis. This is ischiopubic rami, and here you have the imaginary line, and here in the center you have a body called as perineal body. We'll discuss about that. So this is the urogenital region, because what you see here in this one is opening of urinary tubes and genital tubes, or urinary organs and genital organs. That's what is called as the urogenital region. And what you see, the general arrangement, what you see in the urogenital region, here you will see 3 layers and 2 spaces, which are very, very important and the focal points of today's discussion here. And you can see, first you will see superficial membranous layer called as Colles fascia. It's a continuation of the Scarpa's fascia from the anteabdominal wall. Then you see perineal membrane, or inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. I told you superficial is equal to inferior in the perineum. You have to remember the orientation. And lastly you will see superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm, or you can say deep fascia of urogenital. Deep means it lies inside. Okay, so superior is equal to deep, inferior is equal to the superficial. Remember that. So these are the 3 layers, and you will see 2 spaces between these 3 layers. You will see 2 spaces between these 3 layers. These 3 layers are very, very important. Colles fascia, perineal membrane, and superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. Remember, the inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm is also known as perineal membrane, that you should remember. And when you see the left lateral view of the mid-sagittal section of the female pelvis, you will see this. You are seeing the Colles fascia, which is here. This is the Colles fascia you are seeing. It is nothing but the continuation of the Scarpa's fascia, that is from the anteabdominal wall. It becomes the dartos of the scrotum, then continue as the Colles fascia in the perineum. Because in the female pelvis there is no scrotum, you can see the continuation there. Scarpa's fascia will continue as Colles fascia. Then you will see the inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. What you are seeing here is, you are seeing this is the urogenital diaphragm. Then it has these 2 fascias. One is inferior fascia, also known as perineal membrane. One is superficial fascia, also known as superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. So you have a urogenital diaphragm in the blue color there. Below it has perineal membrane or inferior fascia. Above it has superior fascia. So that is there. That is what you are seeing. So superior fascia is there. Then you can see this is the superficial perineal space, and that is deep perineal space. You are seeing the 3 layers and 2 spaces here. That is the arrangement in the perineum. So what are the 3 layers from superficial to deep or inferior to superior? Colles fascia, perineal membrane, and superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. You will see the superficial perineal space and deep perineal space or pouches between these 3 layers. We will discuss that. That is superficial perineal space between Colles fascia and perineal membrane, and that is a deep perineal space between the inferior fascia and superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm, and that is perineal membrane or inferior fascia. So perineal membrane is important here. It is dividing the perineum into 2 spaces. Whatever space below the perineum is perineal membrane is superficial perineal pouch. Whatever above it is deep perineal pouch. So perineal membrane is very, very important. You can see one more image here showing the arrangement here, how the Scarpa's fascia is continuing. Scarpa's fascia is the fascia of the superficial fascia of the anteabdominal wall. It will continue as dartos muscle in the scrotum, then continues as Colles fascia in the perineum. Okay, so you can see the perineal membrane there, and you can see the urogenital diaphragm, superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. So you can see superficial perineal pouch there between colles fascia and perineal membrane, and you will see deep perineal pouch between perineal membrane and superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. You can see one more image here depicting the arrangement here. Here you can see the perineal membrane. This is the perineal membrane, and here you can see the colles fascia. What is colles fascia? It's a continuation of the scarpus fascia from the anteroabdominal wall, which becomes dartos in the scrotum, and here it becomes colles fascia here, and here you can see the superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. So 3 layers, 1, 2 and 3. These 3 layers and 2 spaces you will see 2 spaces. This is superficial perineal space and this is deep perineal space. So 3 layers and 2 spaces, that is the general arrangement of the urogenital region. So I told you a strong perineal membrane divides the urogenital triangle into 2 spaces. Remember the orientation here. So that is the orientation here. You can see pubic symphysis, and here you will see the urogenital region is here, and here you can see the colles fascia. That is what? Perineal membrane or inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. This is superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. You can see there. So this is which space here? This is superficial perineal space. This is the deep perineal space. You can see superficial perineal space is open in front, whereas the deep perineal space is closed. So you can see the orientation, superficial perineal pouch and deep perineal pouch. And you can remember these 3 layers in 2 spaces by the hand position of the mid-sagittal section of the perineum, showing the left lateral view of the perineum. 3 layers you can see, that is colles fascia, perineal membrane or inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm, superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm, and what is space here? Which is space here? Superficial perineal pouch, which is open anteriorly. This is a deep perineal pouch, closed, which is closed. So remember this hand position. You can remember the 3 layers. What are the 3 layers here? This is perineal membrane. This is the colles fascia, perineal membrane, and this is superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. And 2 spaces. Remember the 2 spaces: superficial perineal space and deep perineal space. And what is this perineal membrane? It's a triangular fibrous membrane, which is also known as the inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. It extends across the ischiopubic ramus. Apex is related to transverse perineal ligament. Posterior border is fused with the perineal body and deep transverse perineal muscles. And you can see here, this is the extent of the perineal membrane, triangular membrane, roughly triangular, and you can say. So here is the perineal membrane. Here is the perineal membrane, that is perineal membrane, the what you are seeing. And you can see here, this whitish structure is perineal membrane, which is giving attachment to the muscles of the superficial perineal pouch. Here in the male perineum, you can see the white fibrous structure. So what are the structures piercing the perineal membrane? First, what you see there above, you are seeing a transverse perineal ligament there, and you can see the dorsal artery of penis is piercing, membranous urethra is piercing there, duct of bulbourethral gland, deep artery of penis, and artery to the bulb of penis, and posteriorly you will see posterior nerves and vessels. These all are the structures which pierce the perineal membrane. So if they are piercing the perineal membrane, what is there below the perineal membrane? Superficial perineal pouch. So these all are the contents of superficial perineal pouch. Whatever you are seeing here, this dorsal artery of penis, deep artery of penis, artery to the bulb of penis, urethral artery, and posterior scrotal vessels, and the membranous urethra becomes spongy urethra in a superficial perineal pouch. So these all are the contents of superficial perineal pouch, because what lies below perineal membrane is superficial perineal pouch. Whatever structure is piercing perineal membrane should be the content of superficial perineal pouch. Remember this orientation or this concept. You can see here, these are the some contents. These all contents come from the pudendal artery and pudendal nerve of the pudendal canal, which is present in the ischial fossa. It gives all its branches. You can see here, that is the deep and deep artery of penis, artery to the bulb of penis. Here you can see the dorsal artery of penis, and here you can see the posterior scrotal vessels and nerves. If you observe here, these posterior scrotal vessels and nerves directly entering into superficial perineal pouch. They are not going into deep perineal pouch. So again, this dorsal artery, deep artery, artery to the bulb of penis, they are also contents of deep perineal pouch, because they pierce the perineal membrane here. This is the perineal membrane. They are piercing and coming into the superficial perineal pouch. Whereas posterior scrotal vessels and nerves, they are not entering deep perineal pouch. They are directly entering the superficial perineal pouch. Remember this. You can see in this video, you can see the orientation, and you can see the perineal membrane here. You can see the skin. If you remove the skin of the medial side of the thigh, you are seeing the perineum. So it will be like this. Bony perineum is a diamond in shape, not the what you see in lithodomy position. You can see if you remove the skin and all, there you will see you are removing the skin along with the callus fascia, and here you can see the fibrous triangular membrane, that is the perineal membrane. Is very important structure. It acts as a partition between the superficial perineal pouch below and deep perineal pouch above. You can see the orientation here. This is what you see in the lithotomy position, and now if you see in anatomical position, it will be like this. In the left lateral view of the anatomical position, this is the perineal membrane. Superficial perineal pouch lies below it, deep lies above it, and just above the perineal membrane you can see transverse perineal ligament there, and you will see this is arcuate pubic ligament. Space is there for the transmission of dorsal vein and dorsal nerve of penis. Ischiopubic rami is on either side, that is pubic symphysis. Yes, now you can see the orientation of the perineal membrane. It bridges that urogenital hiatus of the pelvic diaphragm, which we have seen previously in the initial slides. You can see here. So this is perineal membrane, and you can see the opening there in the middle for the urethra. The membranous urethra becomes spongy here, and when you see the structures piercing, what are the structures piercing here? You can see the urethra will pierce here, that is the left half of perineal membrane with the perineal vessels. You can say posterior scrotal or labial vessels, and you can see the urethral artery and artery to the bulb of penis there. You can see the left half of perineal membrane. We'll see one more side here. This is the posterior scrotal vessel or labial vessel. They are in the superficial perineal pouch. By piercing the perineal membrane, you can notice the arterial supply of the penis there come from the piercing of perineal membrane. So all these arteries, dorsal artery of penis, deep artery of penis, artery to the bulb of penis, urethral artery, duct of bulbourethral glands, urethra, they all pierce this perineal membrane. So what you see here, all these arteries, if you just isolate with the perineal membrane, if you see all the arteries, what are the arteries I told you? This is perineal membrane. Above, what is that ligament? Transverse perineal ligament, where it fuses with the superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. You can see posterior scrotal vessels here, and here you can see that is the deep artery of penis, that is the dorsal artery to the bulb of penis. On either side you are seeing there. So these are the different vessels, and here you can see on either side of the urethral opening you are seeing the urethral artery. So these all vessels pierce perineal membrane and they are content of superficial perineal pouch. So you can see here, this is how they pierce the perineal membrane. You can see the left lateral view, how this pierce and enter the different parts of the male genitalia or female genitalia, that is the dorsal artery. Next is the deep artery, urethral artery to the bulb of penis, and posteriorly seeing posterior scrotal vessels. They do not enter deep perineal pouch, they enter directly into superficial perineal pouch by piercing perineal membrane. So coming to the nerves here, nerves also same. They are branches of pudendal nerve, that is those are the perineal nerves and posterior scrotal nerves or labial nerves in females. And as you go here you can see the dorsal nerve of penis, that is the dorsal nerve of penis, and you will see some cavernous branches there to the bulb of penis, corpora cavernosa and corpora spongiosa, involved in the erection and ejaculation. So these are the vessels and nerves piercing the perineal membrane, what you are seeing here, that is about the perineal membrane. These nerves and vessels pierce that, and many are the contents of deep perineal pouch except the posterior scrotal vessels and nerves. You can see here, you can see how the nerves are piercing. Which nerve? Dorsal nerve of penis, posterior scrotal nerves or labial nerves, and cavernous branches, that is autonomic branches, pierce the perineal membrane. So that is about the perineal membrane. Coming to the superficial perineal pouch, as I told you, it lies below the perineal membrane and limited superficially, that is inferiorly, by the Colles fascia. It contains the corpora cavernosa, spongiosa of the penis of the in the males, ischiocavernosus, bulbospongiosus, and superficial transverse perineum muscles, and contains numerous branches of the pudendal vessels and nerves, what we have already discussed in the perineal membrane. So again, if you see the orientation, what are the boundaries of the superficial perineal pouch? What are the boundaries? So inferiorly or superficially you have Colles fascia, above or deep you have perineal membrane, anteriorly it is open, posteriorly this Colles fascia fuse with the perineal membrane. So posteriorly there is fusion of perineal membrane with the Colles fascia that you see here, that is superficial perineal pouch. So what are the, I again told you, hand position, remember this. So here is the superficial perineal pouch boundaries, superficially or inferiorly Colles fascia, deep or above superiorly perineal membrane, anteriorly is open, posteriorly Colles fascia fuses with the perineal membrane, laterally what you have, ischiopubic rami. Both superficial and deep perineal pouch, laterally they have ischiopubic rami as the boundary. You can see again in the one more section here, that is Colles fascia, what you have seen here, this is Colles fascia, this is perineal membrane. So below Colles fascia, above perineal membrane, anteriorly it is open, posteriorly there is fusion. You can see that is superficial perineal pouch, that is deep perineal pouch above. Remember the orientation here. So the superficial perineal pouch lies below the perineal membrane. Coming to the contents, we will see the muscles, artery we have seen, veins and nerves we have seen, tubes we have seen. Let us see the contents. What are the contents here? You will see the three sets of muscles. When you go into the superficial perineal pouch, you are seeing the bulbospongiosus here, ischiocavernosus, and superficial transverse perineae. Bulbospongiosus is fused in males, it is not fused in females. You can see the boundary of the urogenital region, that is the boundary of the superficial perineal pouch. You can see here What are the contents you have? Bulbospongiosis, ischiocavernosus, superficial transverse perineum, and all those vessels which we have discussed. Here you can see in this picture, you can see all these deep artery of penis, artery to the bulb of penis, posterior vessels, dorsal artery of penis is there, and all these posterior nerves and posterior labial nerves. These are the contents of the superficial perineal pouch. You can see in the female it is caused by the urethra, and there is the opening of vagina containing clitoris. In males only urethra and root of penis is there. What are three muscles you see? Ischiocavernosus coming from the ischiopubic rami, bulbospongiosus because it covers the corpora spongiosa of the bulb of the penis, superficial transverse perineum lying superficially in the pouch, in a superficial perineal pouch, and transversely. Nerves are perineal nerve, that is posterior labial nerve, dorsal nerve of penis, muscular branches to these muscles. Vessels we have seen posterior labial vessels, artery of penis, dorsal artery, deep artery of penis, artery to the bulb, urethral artery. These are the contents of superficial perineal pouch. In male and female you can see here. In the males you will see this bulb here, bulb of penis covered by bulbospongiosis. In female it is open for the vaginal opening. And coming to the deep perineal pouch. So we have seen the superficial perineal pouch. Now will see the deep perineal pouch. So superficial perineal pouch was here, and here is the deep perineal pouch. What are the boundaries here? Below what you have? Perineal membrane. Above you have what? Superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm, and it is a closed space containing which urethra? Membranous urethra. Containing membranous urethra. You can see there is a opening for the urethra there. And again, if you see the orientation here, that is perineal membrane. This is superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm, and that is deep perineal space. So you can see contents are membranous urethra, deep transverse perineum, dorsal nerve of penis, all these contents of superficial perineal pouch except the muscles and posterior scrotal vessels and nerves. All they pass through deep perineal pouch. Remember that, and you will have glands called as bulbourethral glands here. Again you see here the posterior scrotal vessels and nerves are not entering this deep perineal pouch. They are directly entering superficial perineal pouch. Otherwise all the other contents are same as you see in superficial perineal pouch except those muscles. Here you will have other muscles. These muscles are called as, first is that is deep transverse perineum. In a superficial perineal pouch you have seen the superficial transverse perineum. Here you will see deep transverse perineum, and you will see sphincter urethra there, compressor urethra. These are the modifications of the pelvic diaphragm around the opening of vagina and urethra. In males you see like this. You will see only the sphincter around the urethra, that is sphincter urethra, deep transverse perineum. These are the muscles you see in deep perineal pouch. And what else you see here? The bulbourethral glands. Here is the membranous urethra, which becomes spongy urethra in superficial perineal pouch. Here you can see the orientation. Deep perineal pouch here in the male, sphincter urethra and deep transverse perineum muscle. Whereas in females you will see sphincter urethra and around the vagina, compressor urethra, and that is deep transverse perineum muscle. So if you see here, superficial perineal pouch, if you see with the muscles here, muscles, vessels and nerves, you can see the bulbospongiosus in the middle, that is a perineal membrane which forms the superior boundary of the superficial perineal pouch there. You can see bulbospongiosus, ischiocavernosus, because it comes from ischium and insert into corpora cavernosa, that is superficial transverse perineum. inserting into the perineal body here. So these are the vessels there, which we have seen already, posterior vessels and nerves entering into the superficial perineal pouch without entering into deep perineal pouch. Whereas other arteries you will see, dorsal artery, deep artery, artery to the bulb of penis, urethral artery, they are contents of deep perineal pouch also and superficial perineal pouch also. These three muscles you see, you can see, that is the urethral artery, artery to the bulb, these are posterior vessels and nerves, or simply say perineal vessels and nerves, common to both males and females. So these are the structures what you see, that is the perineal nerve. So if you see all of them together, you will understand the orientation and the contents here. You will see the dorsal artery of penis there, that is dorsal nerve of penis. So you can notice these are the vessels, nerves, muscles and tubes of the superficial perineal pouch. You can see like this. This is how the superficial perineal pouch is there below the perineal membrane. Whatever is above the perineal membrane is deep perineal pouch. So that is about the deep and superficial perineal pouches. Coming to perineal body, it's an irregular fibromuscular mass of variable size and consistency located in the midpoint of a line joining the two ischial tuberosities. It lies in the subcutaneous tissue posterior to vestibule of vagina and in front of anal canal or posterior to scrotum in males. You can see there that this is the perineal body where all the muscles are attached. To this perineal body, fascia and muscles are attached. It forms the central point of perineum, blends with the perineal membrane, and its functions are it gives attachment to perineal fascia and muscles, act as support to pelvic viscera, especially in females. It is called as gynecological perineum. Perineal body damage may cause prolapse of the uterus in females. So coming to the anal triangle, which is the posterior part of the perineum, contents are anal canal and ischioanal fossa on either side. It has an external anal sphincter which also attaches to the perineal body. So you have seen the perineal body here. It gives attachment to all these following structures, that is bulbospongiosis, superficial transverse perineum, deep transverse perineum, external sphincter, and also attaches attachment to perineal membrane and colles fascia. So colles fascia, perineal membrane are attached to perineal body. What are the muscles? Pair of bulbospongiosis, pair of superficial transverse perineum, pair of deep transverse perineum, and this external anal sphincter. So these are the structure attached to perineal membrane. You should remember that. And coming to the applied aspects, there will be perineal tear during this vaginal delivery. You can see the tear here, perineal tear. So to avoid this perineal tear and which is leading to anal incontinence or prolapse of the uterus later as a complication, we go for episiotomy, that is the surgical incision in the perineum to allow the smooth conduct of the normal vaginal delivery in case the fetal head get stuck there in the pelvic outlet. So this perineum is very important. Okay, so hope you got some idea about the perineum and how it is oriented and all. Hope it's useful. Thank you for watching. Provide your valuable feedback. Thank you.